The Uber pool dropped at 1:47 a.m. The passenger tag wasn't me. I'm not jealous of bodies, I'm jealous of rides. Bodies tell the truth if you stop staging them. Rides decide which truth gets to arrive with timing. At 1:47 a.m. my phone buzzed with the kind of cheerful cruelty only receipts know how to deliver. Trip completed passenger, Adrian shared with Marcus plus guest. The map looked smug. The Lark and Lantern to the Whitfield residences, 13 minutes, 2 stops. The screen tagged the guest with my last name. My body was still in our apartment, watching the radiator breathe like an amateur chorus. My last name was elsewhere, spending the night like currency. Adrian had texted at 10:43, "Board wants one more. Don't wait up." He's fluent in donor weather and stage weather. Both require men to clap in places that don't deserve applause. At 7:05 I'd filmed the coffee because ritual is cheaper than religion and more punctual. I captioned it here. He reacted with the thumbs up he saves for nights that intend to rename themselves. The Uber didn't rename anything, it confessed. I boiled water because water doesn't audition. I put 2 mugs down by habit and poured into one because habits get tired of being lied to. At 3:11 the lock cleared its throat. Adrian stepped in with his shoes hooked by 2 fingers like witnesses too tired to lie. He smelled like lime and rooftop laughter. He kissed the air near my cheek, our administrative truce, and then saw the receipt glowing on the counter like a letter that didn't need a stamp. "You're up," he said, as if etiquette had mailed me a warning. "The ride thinks you carpooled with Marcus," I said. "It also thinks I went home with you, did I?" His pupils turned into clocks, the dilation that happens when a man buys himself 60 seconds. He set the shoes down like small boats surrendering a harbor and put both palms on the table the way our therapist taught us when we needed to give words somewhere to land. The gesture is either dignity or triage. "Which question?" he asked. "Why or who?" "Why?" I said, because Matt, my emergency adult, kicks me under imaginary tables when I start with names. If I start with who, the ride writes our minutes. Adrian looked at the patch of wall where the paint keeps wanting to retire without ceremony. "Because the scene wouldn't land," he said. "Because donors clapped on the wrong beats and wanted to be forgiven with gin. Because Marcus, yes, said the Whitfield's lobby is gentler than the bar's bathroom. Because he asked if we could ride together and I didn't remember how to spell no. Because when the app asked for a name, his mouth gave it yours." "Did you kiss him?" I asked, breaking Matt's superstition like a boy with a stick and a fence. "In the elevator," Adrian said. "Once small, honest, wrong, he said we could, I said we shouldn't. I got out on 12, he kept riding, I came home." "I hate how sane that sounds," I said. "The sentence I keep for mercy that arrives before I can match its tone." We didn't sleep. We made a noon appointment with daylight. At Whitfield, the lobby smelled like citrus rehearsing humility. Marcus was already waiting with a paper cup and the posture of a man prepared to pay for his verbs. He saw us both and didn't pretend surprise, my favorite trick in anyone who owes a room honesty. "I was coming to apologize," he said, "to you both and to whatever part of the app thinks a last name can be borrowed. He loves you," he added, nodding at Adrian. "I like being near that. I'm sorry my mouth uses the same grammar as desire." "You don't get to call it ours," I said, "because cleverness is my superstition and I tithe when I'm anxious. Rehearsal is a room, a kiss is a scene, a ride is a noun. You don't get to be the verb in our kitchen." Marcus lifted his hands like a man returning a weapon still warm. "Then let me be the receipt," he said. "Keep it. I won't." At home, I moved the kitchen chair into the middle of the floor because procedures save men when gods won't. Adrian smiled like a man relieved to be caught kindly. He came around the table and paused, always that pause, his most decent habit. I met him halfway. The first kiss carried the proper weight, apology without speeches. The second slid his fingers under my shirt and my hand to the back of his neck, the place he keeps for oaths and sleep. We didn't stage a ceremony. We used heat as a system. If I could draw the rest without getting evicted by an algorithm that prefers virtue louder than accuracy, I would. Keep the inventory, shared breath, a belt resigning with grace, a wrist pinned with permission and not claim. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. But the city prefers quizzes. 2 nights later, the bar's account posted a carousel at 1:41 a.m. Hansel light in the bathroom mirror, 4 bodies if you counted reflections. Adrian washing his hands, head down. Marcus behind him, tie undone. A stranger leaning on the sink like rumor. Me in the doorway because someone tagged my name as if helpful were harmless. The caption said boys being brave. Comments did what comments do. I typed nothing. I put the phone face down. I moved the chair until the room remembered it wasn't a witness stand. Adrian came home and handed me his phone without instructions. Delete or archive, he said. I don't want new grammar. You don't need me to erase your verbs, I said. He rested his forehead against mine like a paperweight on a better draft. 3 days later, the email arrived with fonts that have never had to apologize to a kitchen. Residency, 7 days, quiet rooms, kind windows. Adrian forwarded the PDF with every map attached, which is how you know a man has learned where courage keeps its receipts. I want to go without disappearing, he wrote. I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me what I wrote before what I did. I taped 2 lines under the lemon magnet because props still save us when God is off shift. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He added a third in his careful mess. If an I can't is coming, it happens where both of us are. Night 1, wind and a sentence I decided to believe. Today the table forgave me. Night 3, nothing, and my thumb behaved like a bored teenager. I opened the ride app and stared at the trip history like prophecy was mileage. I closed it. I moved the chair instead. At 8:12 he called with a voice that made the kettle think there might be a God. I almost kissed a window, he said. It didn't know your name. I closed the blinds. He came back with a suitcase that didn't slam and 2 pages he treated like animals. They're not good, he said. They're mine, I said, and we performed our small religion. Paper kettle, a room that knows it isn't a lobby. He slid his hands under my shirt from behind, slower than contrition, faster than nostalgia. Here, he said into the bend of my neck, which is the only word left that has never demanded witnesses. We tried boring. We failed gracefully. We tried again. Marcus learned to stand at the back of the house with his arms crossed like a man paying the bill he owes himself. He clapped exactly once after the intimacy rehearsal and didn't text. For a week, the Uber notifications behaved like math instead of scripture. Tests returned like weather. At 12:14 a.m. my phone buzzed, split fare accepted passenger, Marcus shared with Adrian. Drop-off 2 blocks from our street. I stared until the letters admitted they were pixels. I moved the chair. At 1:03 the lock exhaled. Adrian came in with rain in his hair and a sentence ready. I walked him to the corner, he said. He asked for company and I didn't spell no fast enough. He kissed the air like punctuation. I kissed the pavement the word stop. Do you want to hate me now or later? I prefer now. I like the way you come back from it. I'm tired of coming back, I said. I want to stay. He nodded, pulled out his phone, and blocked Marcus on every app, not as spectacle but like a man returning a key to a drawer that remembers. He touched my jaw with 2 fingers, the intimacy director's sacrament, repurposed for domestic faith, and for once the gesture belonged exactly where it landed. We went to bed without performing an essay on forgiveness. We used our mouths the way men do who still prefer heat to cleverness. The room did not applaud. It didn't need to. Weeks alter even honest bruises. The ride logs kept their cheerful cruelty. The mirrors at the bar kept pretending to be generous. The city kept making rooms that want to pronounce us. I kept the kettle and the chair we move when words try to riot. On a Tuesday afternoon, a padded envelope arrived, no return. Inside, a plastic fob stamped with a CarShare logo, hole punched, twine threaded through. On the back, in a hand I recognized from Q sheets, I don't keep souvenirs, I keep systems. I hung it on the hook by the door like both warning and graduation. Tomorrow we'll try again. Apps will offer quizzes dressed as courtesy. Marcus will exist where he exists, a person, not a villain. Donors will clap in the wrong places. The city will invent nights that want to name us without asking. But when Adrian says here, my body has stopped auditioning for suspicion. If another hour offers me a receipt with my name attached to someone else's ride, I hope I remember the handful of humiliating, useful acts that got us through this one. Put water on. Move the chair when words try to riot. Ask why before who. Hold the breath before contact and let it finish being the scene. Then wait for the lock's small throat clearing like it's the first note in a song we can still tune to. We didn't get away with anything. We stayed. We are still staying. The app can keep its roots. The river can keep its absolutions. The lobby can keep its glass. We'll keep being the address. Or, on the nights we can't, the map that admits its misprints and still shows the way back. Past the revolving door that thinks it's a verb, past the elevator's red dot that loves its own memory, into a kitchen where a chair knows what it's for, a kettle makes its 7:05 appointment, and two hands that have done worse learn again how to touch without asking the night to edit.